Greetings and salutations to all you folks out there looking at the next round in the 3 vs 3 tournament. This one is going to be taking place on the Salem Bay. We'll talk about the map in just a second, but let's go ahead and introduce the teams. On the north, we've got OKPuck as Cybran, Chosen running Seraphim, and Dockel as UEF. You'll recall the last time that we saw this team, they were down to 2 players. We now have a substitute, so we're back to the true 3 vs 3 action so that we have all of the Musketeers. For the south side, we've got Blast Chilled over on the right, Achieve Jaguar, and Massive, otherwise known as Creature, all 3 going Seraphim for the trifecta of alien contamination. Salem Bay is a 10k map. It's got some water on each side, just enough water to merit building some navy, but not enough that it can exert an unusual amount of control on the map. Some mass extractors located in the water to each side. We've got Reclaim in the center, large grouping with the Salem wreck as the highlight. Do not be fooled by the massive civilian structures to each edge. Those are only worth 5 massive apiece. A little bit of deceit, some false advertising when you're out there looking for some mass, but do not go for those first. Around every bit of the mountainside there are rocks. You can see the distribution there with the overlay. Control Shift if you want to see that for yourself in any game hosted in the FAF client. And then on the outside corners of the map, we've got some 300 value boulders next to the outside islands. Let's go ahead and see what these guys are doing right at the front end of things. Dockel going first land, second air. Looks like 3 land factories, 4 going down for Chosen, who is building with 3 engineers in his home base and running to the front with the ACU to get that reclaim up. And then we've got land factory, second and third air factory for OKPuck. So strong air game, mid air game, and strong land for that team. Achieve Jaguar has run out to the front with a T1 engineer in order to start dipping into that mass as early as possible in the game. And not only that, he's sent out a tank as well to kill off any opposing engineer that might move to the front. Chosen is taking his sweet time, also building a mass extractor on his way forward, so he's going to be a little bit late to the party compared to this engineer here. I think Achieve Jaguar is going to come away with far more mass than his opponent. Blast Chilled, first land, second air. Same for Achieve Jaguar. No, he has actually gone second land, third, fourth, and fifth planned. And then we've got first land, second air, third land for Creature, who is already dipping into the water to get a naval factory down. We've got tanks and scouts out on the right. Engineer for Achieve Jaguar has gone down. A Jaguar dipping into the wreckage in the center there. We've got some tanks coming in as backup for Chosen. Transport out for Dockel, which is actually a really smart move. If you look at this, this is definitely an asymmetrical matchup, but it is balanced. So you've got 1 player on each team that's very close to the water's edge. You don't have the balancing slot filled where you would have a competition. So by default, you would think that this player is going to control this water and this player is going to control this pond. However, if the transport can get the build power in place fast enough, that may not necessarily be the case. Achieve Jaguar and Chosen trading blows with exactly evenly matched ACUs. We'll take a look here and see who came out ahead. Achieve Jaguar at the bottom of the scoreboard due to his earlier rush to the front. He has captured 2264 in mass, and my phone is going to go off because, like a fool, I forgot to silence it. And then we have got on Chosen's side 1933. So he is not as far behind as I initially thought he would be, but Jaguar did take a little bit of an early advantage. We'll have to see how that plays out for him in the long run. We've got a little bit of a run by here. 3 tanks coming into the base. Jaguar going to shift his entire force to squash that as quickly as possible. Of course, he doesn't really have any intel on that side, so he doesn't know how many tanks there might be. Could be 3, could be 23. He would not know, but he will be able to squash that without much issue. Chosen building a factory on the front line, which is a little bit of an odd choice, but I suppose he is taking it for granted that he is going to be able to inhabit that territory for a long time to come. Also moving over to the left to pick up some extra mass extractors, and Dockel finishing out his expansion, getting a couple more land factories online with several engineers and taking advantage of that extra hydro. Always want to build hydros when you have the chance because it's about the same cost-ish as a T1 power generator, but has 5 times the income, a massive advantage. Looks like those interceptors are going to bear down on the transport. Blast Chill doing his bestest to pick off that NG drop, but it is, woo, that's close. Transport is going to get the engineers into the water, but the transport fell on top of the NGs, doing some severe damage to some of them. Gonna pick up the mass extractors and the reclaim on that side. Nice pickup, preventing some of the speed with which those things can be accessed. Blast Chill doing a good job scouting that one out. Chief Jaguar moving back up to the front, taking a bit more of an aggressive posture. Let's take a look at his unit count here. We've got about 18 tanks on his side versus around 16 plus some arty for Chosen, so very even matchup in the center. Of course, the Chief Jaguar at the same time wants to get control of some areas of the map and kill off what build power he can, but he also doesn't want to donate too much mass to his opponent. This is a bad setup here because the Chief Jaguar is focusing down Chosen's ACU. Due to the targeting priorities of the commander, you gotta focus on one of the tanks or get far away and then resume your walking. So what happens is Chosen is reducing the amount of tanks in his opponent's force, whereas a Chief Jaguar is basically hitting the damage sponge that is the ACU. The total damage potential of Jaguar's force going down, Chosen's remaining the same while he sheds HP. Interceptors moving into the center. Looks like Dockel's going to secure a strong air win for the north side. Even though he had fewer air factories to start out planned, he has finished out with 3 total. We've got 2, one of them being a T2 HQ, which has already put out an engineer to build some power over on the right flank. We might get to see some attempt at a Corsair snipe. Of course, if you see your team take an air win, you really desperately need to take advantage of every bit of that air potential. Even if it's a couple bombers around the outside edges, when you win an air victory, you do not sit on it. Looks like another transport headed out, this one full of artillery from Blast Chilled. So we'll have to see if that makes the cut and hits the other side. Chief Jaguar cleaning up some of the units over there. He is in the midst of an upgrade. Chosen has already completed T2 and is going for gun. Chief Jaguar does not have his notification mod turned on, but judging by the fact that this is a left gun upgrade, I think that is going to be the gun upgrade. So it's not as good as the T2 combination, but it definitely will be able to make a difference in the battlefield. Looks like OK Puck is focused on other areas. He's moving his air over here to intercept probably this bomber that he saw coming. Did not see the transport flying over all of his mass extractors on the outside, but he sees it now. He's moving Corsairs over. If those artillery are able to spread out, they'll be much more survivable. Corsairs coming in and dealing their damage. Of course, Corsairs are not going to have quite as much AoE as some of the other bombers, so they're only going to wipe out half the artillery on the initial pass. Going to lose at least 2 mass extractors off of that one. Excellent drop from Blast Shields. That is going to be highly effective. We've now got 6 additional land factories online for Dockel, who is going to be producing a lot of T1 units to throw at the center of the map. Chief Jaguar running forward with his gun upgrade. As long as you can get the ACU in range of the T2 point defense, a gun comp can effectively shut down any attempt to build a fire base by an opposing player, but the Corsairs are going to come in and lay in a pile of damage on a Chief's ACU. He's now down to 1,000 health. That is going to be death and destruction, taking the entirety of the air from all players with that ACU. That was about 100, maybe, about 100 unit deaths due to that ACU nuke. Chosen immediately laying in some anti-air turrets to prevent a snipe on his ACU. Blast Chilled is going to be in a relatively good position to close in and secure Jaguar's base, but this is going to be a little bit of a tight spot for the Southside team in the coming minutes. Looks like we've got a T1 run by into Chosen's base. That's going to do an excellent job of preventing more units from coming to the south side. Corsairs moving in to try to take care of some of that. but those are going to be able to do an excellent amount of harassment. It's going to kill off some economy, get some of those P-gens out of the way. Corsairs will eventually, of course, win out, but those units are well placed. Blastchill now in danger of losing a chunk of his own home base. He has a T2 flak there, which is not going to be of much use, and he's building more T2 flak from the backside. Now he does have an Ilsheva in place. He needs to be getting some T1 PD online so that he can deny any of those units coming through the front end. Chosen has moved into Jaguar's base. Gonna lay in a land factory as quickly as possible. Of course, since he is the same faction as Jaguar, he can take advantage of those wreckages and build from the halfway point on his factories. It's now going to be the #1 priority to get Chosen out of this base. He does not need more economy. Losing Jaguar, the biggest loss I think is actually the ACU. Jaguar only had a few mass extractors. He hadn't really expanded to any of the outer edges. So they've only lost, what, 7 mexes worth of eco, approximately? But they are down in ACU, which could turn bad. We've got a little bit of an air problem. That flak that was over on this side before would be incredibly useful now, but I think Massive is in for more hurt than the air is bringing, because we've now got a gun commander bearing down, Massive taking a pile of damage from those gunships. You can dodge Corsairs, you can dodge Nathas, but gunships, yeah, you're not going to be that lucky. Creature is now out of the game. Blastchill is the only one remaining. Dokkel, I take T3 land, so he's going straight for that definitive upgrade on the UEF faction so that he can get Percivals into the field and start mowing down whatever Blastchill can throw at him. Blastchill is down to about 1/3 map control, and Chosen's going to be in an excellent position to reclaim these other portions of the map. We've got Ilshevas moving up on the front line to take out these forward factories, reduce the amount of build power in the area, maybe secure some of that reclaim so that Chosen's 6,800 total doesn't keep climbing. Actually, Chosen has reclaimed far less than I thought he would have. But those Ilshevas are going to go down amidst the flood of T1. One of the advantages of Seraphim is that you can get those T2 factories online, and then you should theoretically be able to hold partially into the T3 stage with those very strong T2 units. But it's going to take some doing. He doesn't have that much build power, only 2 T2 factories online. I love the drops. He's staying on an aggressive stance, even in the midst of losing his base, and that's the mark of a player with a fair bit of APM and someone who does not want to go down without a fight. But I don't think that it's going to make that much of a difference. He's got flak underneath all of this air. He's able to deal with some of the gunships. He's trying to move his interceptors around to take out the largest of the threats. They're now focus firing the T2 power, which is going to be a devastating loss. Blastchill does have a second generator up under his shields. He's at 1.2k power with 300 overflow. 40 in the bank. He can stay balanced. He got that T2 gen up in time. Kill power all. Yes, because if all of the T1 gens go down, he'll be relying solely on a single T2 power generator, which would not be good for him. Another T2 mass extractor may go down to the Ilsheva, but it's going to retreat, start firing on those Mantis, so probably not going to see more eco loss. Blastchill moving up with his T2 ACU to build point defense on the edges so that he can hopefully deny this base. Chosen will not get the reclaim from it, but I think the amount of T1 units is too damn high. Gunships coming in, but T2 flak is absolutely devastating to the lower tiers of air. Not even going to get one of the flaks down. Got some veterancy on it as well, and a stationary flak in the back is going to back up the damage on the mobiles. Ilsheva's moving up to the side. AA Ilsheva's a very handy thing indeed, cleaning up some of the air units there, and Ilsheva's falling back as they kite out these units and do some extra damage. Blastchill trying to hold the ledge, but he will get forced back by the Zooey fire. T2 point defense, of course, not able to fire straight down. The deflection is too great. But once you get this many Zooies, the sheer numbers just climb through the point defense fire and are able to get in range and knock those things down with their overwhelming amount of damage per mass. Blast Shield, I think, actually reclaimed that artillery. When you have a T2 ACU without the gun upgrade, it's much faster to reclaim units rather than shoot at them, because the T2 build power is excellent for that kind of thing. Blast Shield running away now. He's going to abandon his T2 P-Gen, and unfortunately, I think that is going to be the end of him. 2 Percivals are online for Zockel. 2 more coming in from the rear. He's using those transports to cut down the travel time. 1,600 damage for every connected shot. Ilshivas and ACUs alike withering under the blows. That is gonna be the end of that. Well, from the north side team, what did they do right that the south side did not? We had much faster expansion into the bases. Blast Shield walked his units up, whereas there was a transport moving for Zockel to get this economy under his control as quickly as possible. Chosen at the early portion of the game had a couple more mass extractors than Achieve Jaguar did, and Jaguar, while he did get up to the front first, did not get significantly more mass than his opponent did. So Chosen may not have made such a bad move at the beginning of the game. The extra build power that he was able to get online due to that lingering ACU, even if only for a few moments, was able to give him a superior number of units through the majority of that initial engagement. Jaguar, using fewer mexes, was not able to keep up and then was knocked out. Once you're down that commander, like I said, the commander is the most valuable asset in this base because it can single-handedly stem the tide of units moving from the north. That just opened up the doorway to the south and everything else toppled. I really think in this game, these were very evenly matched teams. Zockel was actually the lowest rated player here, but the early moments decided, as in a lot of cases. Well, that's going to be it for this map. I am going to zip on over to the next replay. I hope you'll join me over there. That is going to wrap everything up for this video, guys. If you enjoyed it, feel free to drop a like and share it with someone. If you want to support the channel, catch the streams, or join the Discord, check out the links in the description. Thank you all for being at least partially insane, and I will see you in the next one.